Hello, and welcome to another episode of me playing Crusader Kings 3 using the hardest possible rule set. We're starting as the Duke of Champagne in 1178, which was the recommended start by Paradox for this week. We've been building up the buildings in the counties in our realm. We've also been looking into attacking the Holy Roman Empire. From what we can tell, we are going to be able to attack vassals within the Holy Roman Empire without having the Holy Roman Emperor himself join in the battles. You can see here we have a claim on this county. If we click on it and we were to attack it, you can see that says Kaiser Otto IV, the current and quite new Holy Roman Emperor will not be able to join the war. See, after 3 years, he very well might be able to, but ideally, our war will be long over before then. We currently have a claim on Neufchâteau, looking for another claim on Nancy here. Maybe even we'll get lucky and get a claim on the entire Duchy of Upper Lorraine. But I think regardless of that, we'll be able to take these two counties. That'll help improve our realm. What I'm really looking for here is to be able to get down to where there is some Swabian culture in the Holy Roman Empire. Swabian is a quite useful culture because it has industrious, which is very powerful. And just generally, I'd like to hybridize with it. It should help us advance a bit on our high medieval techs, and going along the innovation trees, getting as much innovation as you can is really one of the ways you become more powerful in CK3. And so that's really our goal here, is to get into the Holy Roman Empire so we can hybridize with Swabian, get industrious, which will give us access to windmills and watermills, which are very powerful. One thing we were concerned about is we had an infected wound at the end of last game. Looks like that wound is healed. Notably, even with the infected wound, we were still in fine health, which suggests that we may have a relatively good number of years that we'll be alive, maybe even 10 or more. Okay, so this is some combination of interesting and unfortunate. What we see here is that Henri II, who rules England and a large chunk of Western France, has now become a scourge conqueror. That means he will have unlimited kingdom level casus belli. He'll just be able to attack kingdom after kingdom. As you can see, he is attacking the kingdom of France, which is where almost all of our realm is located. We do have, looks like, one county here in Vaucouleurs, but we'll have to see what happens. One of the things that doesn't seem perfectly consistent to me is what counties get taken if you're a vassal and a scourge conqueror attacks you. So I'm sure that our liege, the King of France, is going to lose the kingdom title and probably lose his territories, but we're underneath him. Do we keep our territories, or will Henri II take virtually all of them? We're about to find out. So we don't want to spend any more gold, definitely. We do want to extort our subjects, except that would stress us out, so we'll wait a little bit. Guess we'll get this claim, though not sure if it's the greatest idea. My concern here is that we will lose all our territories, except we'll take over the county of Vaucouleurs, and then we'll have to figure out how we want to proceed. Probably what we'll do is swear fealty to Henri, and now being a part of his realm, try to reclaim our the Duchy of Champagne. But we don't necessarily have good options. Just looking for most stress loss here. Now we can extort subjects and be just under the threshold for a mental break. We can join another grand tournament. We'll go participate in this while we lament the likely impending loss of our territories. Maybe. Guess we'll find out. Doing our regent on trying to get gold for us, so that's good. It is what he's doing. Try to increase our score as much as possible. So I don't want to spend gold because my concern is before we're going to end up just at Vaucouleurs, then we immediately swear fealty to Henri II, and then we wage a war for our Duchy of Champagne and try to take it back. But to wage that war, we will need gold. Don't want to let this guy buy his way out. We'd like to get whatever experience and ideally good artifacts come from winning this tournament. So that's what we're going to do. Depending on the loss of land, it's possible that over the long run, Henri II taking over France may be useful as a scourge conqueror, simply because it will allow us to grow underneath him. As people saw in my first campaign with the Duke of Bohemia, one of the big concerns is that we were part of the Holy Roman Empire, but we had all these scourge conquerors around us that were tearing the empire apart. And so we always had to be cognizant of them and eventually have to declare independence for the Holy Roman Empire and become a tributary of one of these scourge conquerors. If we can simply become a vassal of Henri II, we can build our empire, our realm, while being underneath him. He should protect us from any external threats. It's very unlikely that other AI or even scourge conquerors would attack him because he's very powerful, and we can go from there. There's always the question of whether his heirs, Richard the Lionheart or whoever, will inherit the scourge conqueror trait. But if they do, then we'll really be protected underneath them. We'll just continue to grow and sort of see what happens. And then if eventually his heirs lose that scourge conqueror trait, that would be our time potentially to strike and take over the realm. But that's very long run. In the meantime, we want to see what happens to our realm and either win it back or go establish ourselves somewhere else. In the meantime, we won this duel, which is great. Get some renown, get some, quite a bit of gold actually, prestige, all good things. Go on to wrestling here. Again, looking to increase our score as much as we can. Take this option for the renown, which we got. That's good. It should give us another dynasty legacy. I talked last episode about even though we're starting in 1178, it doesn't seem like we have much time. We could actually play through several generations, so I think it's still worth trying to get genetic traits in our dynasty and getting the blood dynasty legacies that help that. Again, we'll get more score. Got another perk here. Hoping to get it at any cost and avaricious, which are both very powerful. I think that's our last event before the actual wrestling. Just throw dirt in his face to increase our score. So this, I usually go with the middle option just because the chances on the first one are so poor. And you know, here you have an 80% chance of our score decreasing moderately versus a certainty of our score decreasing slightly. I think we'll just go with the slight decrease rather than, you know, the moderate decrease. Still won the wrestling match. I have a decent amount of hostile looter experience in the footpath. That's very good. Given those odds, okay. So you see up here that unfortunately what we expected has happened. Focusing on our tournament, we will, I think, go with the top option since it's sort of a coin flip. You know, the average outcome is no increase in our score, and we can also get 14 foot if we get lucky. So we'll just hope we get lucky. We did not. After we finish our wrestling match here, we'll take a look at what is left of our realm, which is not much, I assume. We did have quite a number of allies. Hopefully we still have them. Hopefully they're not all unlanded. And using our allies, you know, we'll see about trying to join Henri II's empire, or at least his realm, and taking back our land. Here, again, more prestige, a lot more gold. That's great. Accomplished grappler for 5 years gives us a huge health boost. So hopefully he should, our character should last at least that long. But all that good stuff, let's look at the bad stuff. Here we are in Baccalaure's. That's it. That's all we own now. We used to have this entire duchy here, and now we are reduced to a single county. I believe because I am traveling, I cannot swear fealty to... Thought it would come up here. Yeah, I don't believe I can swear fealty to Henri because I'm traveling, but I plan on doing that as soon as I get back. I sort of thought the swear fealty would show up, but would be grayed out, but not seeing it all. In any case, there's nothing to do here except continue on with our tournament, and then once we are done, we'll do our best to reclaim some land. See, our daughter has become of age. We had betrothed her to Toulouse here. Looks like he still has his lands, a very powerful army. I mean, the other issue is that there is a crusade going on, so many of our allies might be actually fighting with the crusade. But nothing else. We will have lots and lots of very powerful female knights. Because I think this is our third one so far. There are many well-qualified female knights that you will find at grand tournaments. And we will want to marry her to someone who has the max amount of prowess we can get, which is 12, because we're playing on very hard. The highest score that someone we can marry any of our courtiers to will have is 12. Okay, we'll fill in our counselors, which presumably we lost because almost all of our lands were taken, though not quite all. We're still sitting here in our little county. So let's save this woman. Talked about before that, you know, I will accept whatever happens in this game. We're not going to try to reboot it or anything. We're on Iron Man. There's nothing we could have done to prevent Henri from taking our lands, raising our armies. He would have just absolutely destroyed them. He is one of the more powerful characters in the game when he gets a Scourge Conqueror, because he's already an exalted warlord and just has high martial. He's just not someone you're going to defeat at this stage of the game. Later on, when we are much more powerful, we'll hope to be similar to him, be able to compete with his successors or people like him, but not now. There was no reason, nothing to be gained in trying to fight him at all. It just cost us gold, money, knights. So one of the things about playing on this level of difficulty is, in a normal game, you're largely in control of your own destiny. If you decide you can go take over some kingdom, some empire, you're eventually going to be able to do that. But playing on the hardest possible difficulty, you're not in control of your own destiny. Really, Scourge Conquerors are in control of your destiny. And you really have to shape your strategy around what they do, and wait to see how they, where they conquer, how that settles out, what opportunities these Scourge Conquerors leave for you, and build your strategy off of that. And I do think, for me personally, that's one of the things that makes playing on this hardest possible rule set fun and interesting. I'm going to avoid stress here. It is that you do have to be more reactive and really think through the options instead of just you being the dominant force in world affairs from the very beginning of the game. You're doing quite well at this tournament, probably because it has relatively poor prizes, but we did get that very good bow, which we will definitely want to equip. Equip these trinkets as well. And again, just want to keep becoming more and more powerful however we can. Here, the main way we would become more powerful is to see about getting our lands back, or at least some lands, besides being a single county character. Great, just great. Why are we even being... Okay. So obviously this isn't good that we're going to have these people sieging our lands. I wonder if that prevents us. Right, we can't swear fealty because we are still part of France. So let's fix that. And there may only be 2 counties in, yeah. So it looks like, well, I guess 3 counties in France now. It looks like our liege is still far more powerful than us, but he is losing a massive amount of gold. His military strength is largely based in mercenaries. Now, unfortunately, yeah, I don't know that raising our armies, we're going to lose the siege. I have no idea which one of our family members is going to die. So again, it's just all unfortunate, but nothing we can really do about it. The siege is going to be quite bad because our family members could be killed, be captured. It's also really going to damage the control in our capital. I sort of hope to avoid being there myself, but unless we get another event, not much I can do. try to look for another good. I mean, this is the only woman, intelligent woman that's available before. Now we have this woman who has overall better skills. Her um, personality traits aren't as bad as this woman. I think we just go ahead and get them married. Skip on that payment because of the massive amount of stress. Wonder if I can take a inexpensive pilgrimage to not be present when our capital falls. Looks like I can. So we'll do this. Do get a traveler trait, which is good. Get some stat gain. A little bit of a health increase, I believe. I think we'll just avoid the stress. So here comes the fall of our capital. Lost our court jester and wet nurse. Looks like our spouse of our son died. I think we just wait until we find some more intelligent or genius women. So there's not really much we could do. Because we're occupied, I don't even think we can raise our armies. So it would really be nice if this war between France and Holy Roman Empire ended one way or another. Let's just check here. Yep, can't raise armies. So, okay. We will continue on. Obviously less than ideal, but not much we could do. I assume we can't increase control. No, because fully occupied. So, yeah. And again, we'll just have to wait. I mean, we are, we're occupied as part of the French claim of the Duchy of Savoy. So if that war ended one way or another, that would be quite beneficial. Looks like the French army did defeat the Holy Roman Empire. This is quite a long trip. The Alps are very dangerous. Always want to have mountaineers when you're going over the Alps, so you get a bunch of negative events. But frankly, there's nothing else for us to do at the moment, so we will just continue on this grand tournament. We are, a decently strong knightly character now. Looks like Henri II, for some reason, has made Lotharingia his main title instead of England. I'm sure he could also usurp. Well, I guess he can't usurp the Kingdom of France because the current holder is fighting a war. So anyway, we will participate in our tournament and forget about our other cares. Go with the score increase. Usually I go for the bet, but there the money just wasn't worth it. We just lose some stress and gain some prestige there. And the prestige may be valuable as we'll want to call in a lot of allies when we're fighting our wars to ideally get our territory back, get some new territory. Speaking of new territory, yeah. I was going to see if there were any other territories in the Upper Lotharingia that we could get a claim on, but it looks like we're not connected to Metz, so it would take quite a while to get a claim on that. Oh, great. Just great. So we may be about to lose our... Yeah, maybe about to lose our last holding and become landless. That is genuinely unfortunate. I don't really like landless play. I tend to find it sort of repetitive, but there may be nothing else to do. And just so you can see here, what I'm talking about is, I had been looking at attacking Upper Lotharingia. Now they are going to be attacking me. I can't even raise my armies because it's been occupied by the Holy Roman Empire. And so I'm in a really bad position. Recruit another talented female knight. We're right on the brink of being able to make some significant gains and really improve our position. And you can see how quickly it all fell apart. Again, that's just the way things go. And we'll have to make some decisions about what is the best way to come back from that. Probably as a landless character, looking at this point. Great. So this is obviously a very negative event. We will take the one that doesn't kill us, and we will now become disfigured. And we'll no longer be participating in this tournament. Maybe we still will be. I don't know. I guess it's only about my knights here, not the saying I'm not competing. So try to get renown or whatever. There's probably not much reason for us to go to the tourney ground since it won't improve our ability to win any events because we aren't participating in any events. Avoid getting wounded. Already been wounded enough here. Grab a little bit of prestige. So again, the first two campaigns, things went generally pretty well without any really severe setbacks. Obviously, in this episode, we have had severe setbacks and are about to have another one. I do want to remind people that as part of playing on the hardest possible rule set, there are most of the rules, all the rules except one really, are contained within the game itself. Specifically, we go to game rules. You see all these game rules here. It's you're inflicting all this misery on my poor character. But there is one other rule that is not in there, which is that I will not try to become a conqueror. So this is particularly important for landless play. Obviously, there is a, I shouldn't say obviously, as you may know, there is a decision when you are landless. It requires you to satisfy these 8 out of 10 different conditions. If you do so, you will then become a conqueror when you obtain land. We will not be going for that decision. Part of that is because becoming a conqueror is just so powerful. It really reduces the challenge of the game. And the other part is because if that option were available to me, then literally every game, the optimal strategy would be to become landless, become a conqueror, pick some land somewhere, then greatly expand my realm, try to keep the conqueror trait, and then I as a conqueror would be much more likely to be able to beat other Scourge conquerors. And I think just doing my campaigns would become very repetitive, and I don't know that would either enjoy playing them or that you would enjoy watching them. Hopefully you do enjoy watching these games, and certainly if you are sadistic, hope you're enjoying watching now the fate of our poor character. I think playing on this highest difficulty level does lead to some interesting role play and stories, even though I myself am not really a role player. You can see here that we had this Duke, who was doing quite well. He was preparing to launch some of his own attacks. Then his almost all of his realms are taken from him by just an incredibly powerful military machine in Henri II, and his ability even to be in his one little county and use that as a basis to restore his lands seems like it's about to slip from his fingers. Not sure when I become landless how many of these courtiers will be coming with me. Ideally, I would like to keep all my good women knights and knights generally, but I don't know if that's how it'll work. We'll go with this top option just to avoid stress. Happy to knock someone else out of the race. Go with this option as the highest percentage chance. Increase our score. Same, we want to increase our score as much as we can. Avoid Avoid stress, though it does cost us some prestige. We'll avoid stress. Here, chances are high enough. We'll take that option. Fortunately, we lost. Do want to check whether I put on my armor from the last tournament. I don't think I did. So we will do that now. Stress. Take this option. Which, okay. So we lost our last county. Nothing we could do about it. That is interesting. Given that he is a theocratic ruler, I had assumed we would not be able to do that. I mean, this is an interesting option. I mean, he is still landed. So I'm going to lose a whole bunch of prestige. I mean, I generally don't know what happens if we take this second option and try to play as a theocratic ruler. I would assume that it will be quite buggy because you're not supposed to be able to play as a theocratic ruler, at least not for another, 2.5 months, something like that. So I have no idea what happens there. We could try to play as this guy. He's not a very good character. He's about to die. Not sure what his heirs look like. I think we just say that we'll try to reclaim our lands and become landless. So there's an interesting question here of what do we want to become. I guess we don't have to make that decision right now. We do have a decent amount of gold to get us started. Here, I mean, I think this is the obvious choice. Could divorce our wife and see about getting a different wife that could give us another son. I think maybe we wait for that to see if we can get a woman through the Rescue Fair Subject event. See how that goes. So where am I? Am I still at the Grand Tournament, or am I... Okay, I guess it kicked me out. Okay. So we are building in our camp. Don't know that we get... Yeah, we don't even get a tutor anymore. We'll assign who we can to these positions. For now, maybe we'll get better people as time goes on. Obviously, we did lose all of our good knights. Obviously, so this is the decision that we will not be taking as part of playing on the hardest possible rule set. We just will not try to become a great conqueror. So we won't be doing that either. We will avoid becoming gallows bait. We're not going to adopt nomadic ways. We definitely want to be visiting castle holdings quite often. Okay. Guess we will have someone educate our daughter. So our goal here is really to try to get some land. Well, ideally, we do still have a lot of claims, press claims on Champagne, some of the counties within it looks like. So I think we want to stick around here and see if we can get our lands back. Hopefully, either through peaceful means or otherwise. It's curious because I saw some Hungary's troops seem to be over here in the Western Holy Roman Empire. I thought maybe there was that Hungary's ruler had become a scourge conqueror, but no, it just looks like a regular fight, regular war. So we're on to being landless. Let's think about what our camp purpose should be. To me, the sort of obvious one and preferred one is to become swords for hire. You get a lot of knights. You get you can build up quite powerful armies over time. We're not going to become freebooters. Now you could say we should become scholars because our character has a high stewardship, though his learning is not very good. He does have a good prowess and decent martial. Prowess is primarily because of artifacts, so I think let's become swords for hire. Now that we know, what our purpose is, let's see. I do want to. I think it's Knight of the Swan or whatever. So let's go for righteousness here. Keep the artifacts I have. See if we can get some provisions for free. Hear a story. And one of the reasons I don't like landless, frankly, is because we're going to be doing a whole bunch of this over and over again. The stat increases are interesting. I guess we could get this guy at least to be our camp physician. He should be a very good one. We do have a decent amount of gold to get us started here. I'm happy to have anyone join my camp at this point, so do that. Tybalt looks like a pretty good knight, so we'll have him. Don't know that I really want to spend gold on these training sessions. So I will want to visit a temple and get the health boost, or I should say the life expectancy boost. Closest temple's over there. Thinking about where we want to move our camp to. Could be the best to go down here where Henri II has his capital. Try to do eventually be able to do some contracts for him so that we can hopefully get some land. I guess for now, let's just take the contracts that are available. This one will be a bit risky, but let's see how it goes. We have much higher prowess, so let's just give it a shot. Yeah, I also have the Blade Master trait, which is very useful. So usually what I'm looking for is something that gives a better chance to my likelihood of success than the increase to my risk of injury. So medium is more than low, so you'll have to go with this one. Low likelihood of increase in success, better than no risk of injury, so we'll do that. We are one of many contracts. It'll be too soon to visit for additional contracts, so we'll take another contract again here, go instruct some knights. We'll go with the highest percentage chance, which we obviously failed. Same thing here. So it all comes down to this one. And we failed. So, unfortunate. See if we can get more contracts yet. We cannot. So let's take this travel contract instead. Oh, let's see here. So that's quite powerful, the high stakes bartering. So we'll do that. We won't do scout for talent. We'll do this to decrease the risk of going through the Alps, and we'll just hope that we don't drown off the shores of Venice. Let's change our position to Goucher here. Guess we'll try this one, envy for land. See, we are getting quite a bit of gold for high stakes bartering, so probably always want to have high stakes bartering on whenever we travel. Guess we'll go with this second one since it has better chances, though of course we failed. Guess let's move over to the Duchy of Burgundy. I think that may give us better options in terms of getting land closer to the land we once held. Take transport contracts. See if we can get any more provisions. Critically failed. I mean, she does have a genetic trait, but it's not intelligent. I assume she won't be able to serve as a knight. I guess the question is, do I want her to become my wife? I don't think so. We will instead go with this woman. I think will help with stewardship contracts. Go with Frederick here. Guess we can do some sparring. I think we're done. Well, scored another emissary. I think we'll keep those on since there is some are some mountains around. Again, high stakes bartering we'll keep on since it does seem to give us quite a lot of money. Get some more gold from our contracts. Yeah, that's fine. Hopefully we will win this duel. Keep building up our pavilion. Probably vary the way I come back. See if I can get more gold that way. Doesn't need to be anything too significant. Just see if by using the high stakes bartering perk, if we go through different holdings, I'll get some of their gold hopefully. As always talked about, always want more gold. Don't really need a hermit. We'll just pick that one. Hopefully we won't die. I think we'll go down here to Earth's Bounty and get some new officers. I know there are, amazing things people do with, incredibly lengthy journeys, and been there, done that. I don't know that that's going to work for us given our age. Just looking here at our different abilities that we have now, since we're landless. Okay. We'll do stewardship. See if we can get some supplies. Increase our skills. Do we really need any of those people? Frankly, neither of these people is that great either. Okay. We'll work on building up our men-at-arms here. Armored horsemen, armored footmen are both very good. Curious about. Okay, so to purchase land, some of these other things, we need to get our level of fame up. I know C's realm is incredibly powerful. Again, we're playing on very hard difficulty, which gives a significant penalty to all hostile schemes by the player. So I'm not sure it would work for us. Let's go be righteous. See if there are any good free travel options we can use. We'll just avoid the risk of becoming ill. Usually I just go balance for these and auto invite agents. And while I'm normally a speed 4 gamer, we can go speed 5 here till we get up for some until we get to the point where we have 5 advantages and complete the scheme. I certainly do want to claim some lands in the future, so just say that. certainly do have a long path ahead of us. Are gaining some prestige. Max out our pavilion here. Let's look into founding a holding. It's quite expensive, but let's give it a try and see what we can do. We won't focus on tournaments for the moment. Again, don't want to be criminal contracts. Don't want to do those. Treasure maps, not really either. Guess we'll try diplomacy, though often they seem to take a very long time to complete. So probably just end up ignoring those. And usually try to... Okay. Do think I want to have our Cindy. Okay, make sure I'm getting the right person here. Let's have her join our camp. She is beautiful. Don't want to spend gold on a training session. Would be willing to spend gold on a good knight, but I don't know that either of these people qualify. Maybe these relatively low prowess is the best we can do. Now let's see if we can divorce our spouse and marry the beautiful, somewhat younger woman. We just have our follower. We will romance her instead of swaying someone who no longer matters. Okay. I think let's do more of these righteous contracts. Again, we'll just go with balanced here. Looks like he should, be able to get to 95% quite soon. Maybe not quite 95%, but close enough. Don't want to spend gold, really. I assume we've come back. No? Okay, so we can do it again. We will get some righteous contracts. See if we can improve our stats. How expensive is that guy? He's an okay knight. And maybe we don't really want any of these people. Both of these are quite poor knights, so we will pass on them. Talked before about before I was able to get this beautiful woman already to be my wife, that we could have gone and Done a rescue a fair subject. That's another way to get a wife. Let's move up to this temple. Let's invest in our building, see if we get some more gold. Curious if our building appears in our domain. Does not seem to. By building, I mean our city holding. We will visit the temple. Could get that for the health boost, but I don't know. I think it's necessary. Probably do the middle one here. So we get a health boost for just 2 years. I guess we could get this and which one of these gives less prestige? This one. Stay alive a little bit longer and hopefully get a better heir. Might as well give it a shot. Last child was our only son and heir, is a legitimate child. Scholarly work, because again, don't want to become a criminal. Getting a lot of people with high learning. This guy is a pretty good knight. This looks like it's okay for a cheap amount of gold. Certainly not doing that third one. I guess we could increase our piety. I think that helps with some of the other events. No stress, sure. I think we're probably good to head back to a castle holding soon. Okay, so we have maxed out our pavilion. Start with the roaring campfire. before, I think we'll head back to this castle holding. Get some renown because I'm French. I mean, actually, well, we're not going to arrive there in time anyway. I've been clicking off these grand tournaments, but frankly, I think at this point they may be a better source of gold and prestige than doing these contracts. So I will change my opinion toward them, and whenever we get the opportunity to do grand tournaments, I will be doing them from here on out. Okay, Oregon looks like a very strong knight. We are starting to run out of our build-up gold. We'll go rescue this fair subject here. Fortunately, wife lost a child. Let's see what going down administrator does for us, really. I guess it mostly makes our officers more effective. Guess might as well have her join our camp if she would do so, but she's not interested. Fortunately, can't make it to the camp in time, or the grand tournament, I should say. See if we can get some more men-at-arms. Build up our army here so that we can eventually participate in wars. I'm not, mercenary contracts. I don't know that there are a lot really happening. I think we'll just take the stress on this hook. 100 gold is a lot. And we'll go with stewardship because that is our education after all. This guy is getting up a little bit up there, but he is a good knight. Caused us to become broke. But hopefully we'll just make it back through contracts. Escorting emissary should give us a lot of a lot of gold from our high stakes bartering perk. But there's a lot of danger. I think we may have covered some of these places before, but try to hit as many different holdings as we can. Definitely want more gold. Okay, lost it at a 9% chance and got aggravated wound. Pass on getting the bloody flux. Let's go. Looks like I'm about to die, probably because I got the bloody flux, which I made a big mistake in not looking where I was going, and I wandered right into an area with a severe plague. So that is unfortunate. So this will join our camp for some provisions. Let's run for our lives. Now my son also has a bloody flux. Okay. So I think some of the issues in terms of losing our lands, there was nothing I could have done. In terms of losing my original character, that was just a mistake on my part. So really, digging into a lot of problems here. We'll continue as our only son here. I mean, it's unfortunate that he is intrigue. I really don't want to do collaborator contracts, but might not have much of an option. Oh, right, because he's ill, I can't go to can't visit the castle holding, so that's unfortunate. See what we can get here. I thought there was some a way to unlock some additional men-at-arms. Maybe I'm incorrect. These will probably wait until we have a better idea of what our army looks like. There is Lockwagon, so we can go with that. It's quite expensive, obviously. Let's try rescuing a fair subject. Ideally, we'd have a martial character. We don't have that, so realistically, this is just going to take a long time of playing on as landless. We will take our father's ex-wife, as one does. Continue on. At least we're getting some decent fame here. Now I can visit the castle holdings again. Pick the martial ones for being consistent with the purpose of our camp. do this righteous contract first. Should look to see who we can appoint here. Should probably break up with my lover so it doesn't cost me levels of devotion. Okay. See if we can increase the size of our armies. Slowly getting bigger. Let's first see if there's anything new at the camp. Train for a tournament. Certainly want to do that. We will be, as we talked about earlier, we are going to want to go to all grand tournaments that we can. I think that's actually better money and prestige than doing contracts. Some righteous contracts. Don't have the money to hire anyone at the moment. I think after this grand tournament, we'll call the episode. Obviously, not much to say about the episode, except it has been disastrous. But again, we are playing on the hardest difficulty level, and that sort of stuff happens. Losing our land, there was literally nothing we could do about it. My original character dying, that was my fault. One of the things you really need to do playing at the highest difficulty level where you have Doomsday plagues is before traveling to a place, look if there is a plague there. And of course, if there is a plague, go somewhere else or just don't travel. But they're often going to be major, even apocalyptic plagues. And if you go there, you're likely to catch it and then likely to die. And that is exactly what happened to our character. But again, we've, from a fairly strong starting point, we've now basically hit the bottom. And the question is, can I play well enough to go up? And so we talked here, 750 prestige is just great. So is 45 gold is a little bit less than you get for a contract, but not much less. Unfortunately, I no longer control the dynasty, so someone else will be picking our dynasty legacies for now. But just from winning one tournament event, we got a lot of benefits. So I think that confirms that we really want to go to tournaments as much as we can. Of course, I succeed in getting renown on that temple event. Then I no longer control our dynasty legacies. But that's life. Usually when that happens, I go out and make sure, okay, I guess I already have equipped, all right. We have a little bit of a better chance. Might as well try it. We succeeded. The melee is always a coin flip, even under the best of circumstances. I think you have like a 60, a chance of winning in the low 60%. So this is the event that would be great if we had the option to increase our lifestyle experience, but we don't. We don't really want to become superstitious, as that increases the amount of stress gain. So I won't do that. Go with this. I really want to look for opportunities to get prestige when we can here, since prestige increases our levels of fame and allows us to get closer to trying to reclaim our lands one way or another. This is good that, I think we're what, 28 now, so we'll get some hostile looter experience while we're quite young. Will help us in all of the tournaments yet to come. Hopefully, by the time we're 40, we'll be consistently winning these grand tournaments and just getting more prestige and be in a better position to claim some lands and then reconquer our prior lands. Or perhaps some different lands will even work better for us. But either way. So we won again, which is great. Getting closer up to illustrious. Also should get some good artifacts. So increase our fertility there. Don't really want to start a romance scheme against any of these people. Guess I'll take the stress and the prestige. Okay, we have a daughter. Unfortunately, even though our wife is beautiful, our daughter is not. But probably start educating her just in case we don't have any other options for an heir. Let's see. So this gives us some. The top option gives us some prestige. Guess as does the second one. So might as well do that. Always like joust, since you get a lot of horse and foot experience. And it's just sort of cool when you think of grand tournaments in the Middle Ages, you think of the joust, so always like doing them when I can. Our chances are quite high on the second option, 90%. We get 150 prestige, and assuming we pass the check, 14 experience in horse, so we're going to do that. Looks like we succeeded, which we should have with a 90% chance, but you never know. Fortunately, despite succeeding on that decision, we then lost the overall joust. Didn't die, which is always good. Got here, we got some armor. It's probably better than what we have. We got an interesting trinket that probably does not benefit us that much as a landless character. Let's look at our artifacts here. And certainly want that armor on. I think our new trinket at least has more prestige by a small amount, so we will equip it. Head back to our camp. Looks like getting land will be very expensive. They probably start, swaying this guy once we get really serious about the land. I wonder. We could also try to move here to Henri's capital. I think probably when we get another level of prestige, maybe do some more of these contracts in the immediate vicinity. We'll do that. As for now, let's visit the castle holding just to make sure that we have done this. I don't forget about doing them at the start of the next episode. I don't think we really have enough gold to hire people at the moment, but we'll get there. Okay, and so we'll call that as the episode. I hope you join me for the next one. We'll see if we can get myself out of the rather low position I'm currently in. Thanks again. I hope you join me for the next episode. Bye.